Hi everyone and welcome back to my Know by Year. In today's video, I'm going to go through a kind of series of questions to check the content that you're consuming. So some of you may have seen or may be aware that I have a fitness watch. It's a Garmin. It's supposed to encourage me to work out. My husband got one and he's gotten really into running, so he took it upon himself to get me one as well. And it's actually been helpful in monitoring heart rates and sleep quality and things like that to keep track of my hyperthyroid progress as I take medication to try to even things out a little bit. But I noticed after doing some light workouts that after your workout, it asks you a series of questions about how your workout went and how you felt. So, for example, it'll say, how do you feel afterwards? And it's got a series of smiley faces, difficult, neutral, you felt strong, so it was easy. And, like you rated on a scale of 1 to 10 or whatever. And I was thinking, what if we had this after every piece of content we consumed online? Or, even books you read in person or movies. Oftentimes you'll go see a movie with a friend, so you might have that rundown in real life with your friend after the movie. But when you're watching a piece of content on your phone and in the sanctity of your own home, sometimes we don't think, or I didn't think, about what this content was leaving me with, how I would feel afterwards, and whether I got what I was searching for after watching it. Part of it is that I didn't necessarily have a clear idea of what I wanted when I went in, so I wouldn't have the clarity of what I wanted to get out of it when I watched the video. I'm becoming much better about that, and since having started the series of conscious consuming of content. But I thought about the questions that I might ask myself after watching something to kind of check on my progress, check on my status, my mental state after viewing what I viewed. And I wanted to share some of those questions with you today. So there are some of the surface level general questions. How do you feel? What did you learn? Do you feel supported in a goal that you are trying to reach? Do you feel educated? Are there any action items that you can do after seeing this piece of content? And perhaps even more meaningfully, do you feel influenced after watching this? Do you feel like you have a new insecurity? Did you feel like you spent your time in a worthwhile way? And perhaps the kicker here, do you feel like buying something, or do you feel influenced to go shopping or looking for things after seeing this piece of content? And this kind of leads me to the next point of not being afraid to remove yourself from communities that in general encourage influenced shopping or being influenced in ways that you don't wish to be influenced. And this includes my community here. Of course, my goal is never to be influensive, is that a word? Of buying material possessions. And I welcome any feedback as to whether my content might be veering off course for your personal goals. I would always be happy to read that in the comments, and I do consider feedback seriously. But I've also realized that even in my own experience as a consumer of content by other creators, if I have an expectation of what I'm going to receive from a piece of content and then I don't receive that, it can be easy to take it out on the creator in my mind, or to put a judgment onto them, when in reality, the onus is on me to remove myself from that community if I feel like I'm being influenced in a negative way. And so I've become less afraid or less feeling of FOMO if I decide to unfollow a certain creator or remove myself from their communities. First of all, you can always refollow. You can always still consume the content without being in their circle. And in some ways, it's kind of like the wish list principle to me. If I am a subscriber of a content creator's channel, I tend to watch all of what they produce. That's just my tendency as a loyal viewer of any of the communities that I join. And so to be able to approach content more freely has removed the to-do list mindset. Just like I don't keep a physical wish list of things that I've seen that I kind of want, because it then becomes a little bit of a to-do list and also a little bit of like a pedestal that I put these things on. Same thing with creators. And again, I don't necessarily not want you to subscribe to my channel. And, it's kind of fun to see the numbers going up. Sometimes they go down. Maybe my videos are being successful in getting people to consciously evaluate what content they consume in that case. But I would like to think that I provide value in what I create here, even if it's in a small way, to other people. I am trying to think about how to gear my content towards producing more value for others now that it's produced so much value for myself over the course of this Know by Year. So that's a little bit of a tangent, but and feedback is welcomed. I'm probably going to do some more questions and polls as the new year draws closer to kind of shape how I pivot my channel to help the most people going forward. But anyway, back to the topic of influencers and expectations. I think it's also tempting in some cases, to wish that influencers would change their ways and their channels and their platforms. And I see this whenever there's a major controversy or political situation. People are criticized as influencers for not speaking out about the climate in X country or this social justice issue. And if people stay silent, then they're complicit or whatever just because they have a platform. And while I understand this mentality of spreading the word when you have a community to whom you can spread the word, it's not necessarily the influencer's intention to become involved in all of these things. And I'm not speaking from personal experience or anything on this. I'm not entangled in any of these issues, yet my platform is relatively small. So this is not a personal complaint. But when we look at influencers with a large platform and wish that they would change or wish that they would do something a certain way, it's a little misguided to think that they have incentive to change when they built their platform, when we're talking about overconsumerist channels that demonstrate hyperconsumerism, they built their channels on doing this behavior. And so they're incentivized to keep doing this behavior and to not change, no matter how many vocal minority comments might comment that they wish that they would change and that they're destroying the environment. So we need a larger shift in the community to not glamorize this kind of content, to not watch this, to not comment that, oh, this is aspirational. When I have money, I'm going to buy all this stuff too. Oh, I wish I was an influencer. We need the societal shift to stop wanting these things, stop valuing these things. So we can't expect the individual influencer who's being incentivized to keep behaving that way to change their behavior out of the goodness of their heart or a change in their own values. I mean, at the point of making that much money off of what they're doing, they probably don't care if they're behaving in line with their values. As weird as that might seem to those of us with small platforms or no platform at all on social media, I mean, I guess in some cases, money really does talk. And if you have the offers of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, some of these creators make a lot of money on the table, would it sway some of our opinions in what kind of content we profess to be okay with creating? I'm sure it would. So again, it's just the concept that these people wouldn't have a following if they hadn't done the things that they've done thus far. The overconsuming, basically. So asking them to stop doing the hauls, to stop promoting overconsumption is just not going to work. As long as we continue to follow the debauchery, the debauchery will keep on happening. I was listening to that TikTok trending song, Mamushi. Let me look up the lyrics. I mean, I just remember the refrain being, I got money, I'm a star, star, star. Stack it up like Tetris, but this money ain't a game. Drinking out of the bottle. We got Hermes, got expensive watches. Ain't no way I'm getting clocked. Cropped shirts, diamonds with so many carats. We glorify this kind of money and consumerism in our culture. It's in our music. And, I'm not trying to make a statement about music here. I haven't done the research into the rap culture and, glamorizing over consumerism, expensive things. I know it's a theme of rap music. So you feel free to educate me in the comments. Put it that way. I'm not trying to make any statements here, but if you know about it, tell me in the comments. I do kind of want to get into researching this more as time goes on and I have more time to do so. It is something that's deeply interesting to me. I do like hip hop music, rap music. I admire the flow of these lyrics and the wordplay that often happens, the musical ability to kind of speak with a beat and play with the emphasis of the different words on the beat. So I have a deep interest in it, and it's kind of a natural curiosity to kind of tie in the overconsumption threads with my natural interest of music. So anyway, if you have the intel, let me know. I'm just not there yet. But anyway, back to the point of this video. This is kind of like an urge to check your technology use, check your media consumption, do your own kind of self-assessments of how you feel. It can also apply to music. Did you feel uplifted by listening to this? Do you feel like it wasted your time? Do you feel like you were negatively influenced? And to protect your time, I guess, is the ultimate goal here. To protect your things that you consume, make sure that the quality is as such that you are happy to consume and support these creators, including myself. And, if it's a creator that you truly enjoy and care about and they start veering off into a category that you're not happy about, you can let them know and maybe they'll change if they care about listening to audience feedback rather than just unceremoniously leaving. Because I can understand that feeling as well. Like when you leave a formerly loved creator without telling them why you're leaving, without explaining why you've been turned off, it can feel a little bit like ditching a friend or ghosting. Here's where I run into that little conundrum where as a creator, creator, I don't want to make you feel guilty for ghosting me if removing yourself from my community is the best thing for your mental health. But at the same time, I'm also a content consumer, and so I feel all these things from the other side. So I've kind of got both ends of the experience here. So just be reassured, at least, maybe, hopefully, that I'm not here to be an influencer of products. I'm not trying to make money directly from my viewers. That is not my primary source of income, and making it a primary source of income is not my goal. So anyway, that was just a quick little update to maybe urge you to think about the parameters for your content consuming. And, you know, being entertained is a legitimate category of content consuming as well. You don't have to always be looking to learn something or to be motivated to do something or to stay the course on your own goals. You know, like if you're on a no-buy year and that's why you're here consuming my content, it's okay to be entertained by other content as well. You know, there are some creators out there whose content is just entertaining and a break from reality. And so if that's the goal you're trying to achieve, that's totally cool and legit. Who am I to say what's cool and legit anyway? But you know what I'm trying to get at. It doesn't always have to be about some higher pursuit. But I, at least in my own relationship to content consuming, have to really feel genuinely entertained, right? It's not just kind of like passive anymore. Like I have to feel something positive and, you know, at the very least, not feel something negative, not feel influenced or manipulated or taken advantage of through the content that I consume nowadays. And my expectations of influencers as a whole has become, I feel like, much more in perspective. You know, I've rode the roller coaster of being influenced, coming down and removing myself from being influenced, and then kind of thinking that influencers are icky, and now coming back to this like equilibrium of like, you know what, like I still kind of think they're icky, but it is my choice to consume or not consume, and I'm more wise to it now. And what I can do now is just provide a source of content on the internet where that kind of influence is not going to be there. And maybe more people will start doing the same. In fact, I have seen more people who do the same and have chosen to follow those people. And, you know, this is my way of navigating this society on social media. And with that, I think I will bid you farewell for today. Let me know your questions, your parameters for if a piece of content is worth watching for you, the questions that you ask to keep yourself healthy and engaged with your goals. And I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.